Apparently, yeah.
Sandy, where's Margaret right now?
I think we should have like 27 candidates. Community participation, guys.
And you have to have the most there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's saying. Yeah. Yeah, have the populism take it. Wait, Nick, is this recorded or live?
It's live. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah, it's
amazing when you're talking 2-minute link.
Correct. I don't know. It's funny.
Yeah, she was realized about, you know what this was doing. And she was like, how many words bring it down? You were like, oh. It's not the crack. Yes, I have one. But my thing is like they were post around it, and they were like, oh, you're great.
Why is it 18?
Advantage 1 is warming. The U.S. is not on track to meet emission reduction goals. Guaranteed cash over warming. Carbon tax insurance cuts before critical thresholds are passed. Patent Kennedy 21 car pricing. Most directed efficient way to achieve emission reduction. That's immediate climate change community with the test mission using the half of the bond car pricing. Reverse ship and city of active emission. $3 carbon gas emissions. 5% reverse emission. 80% EG. Logic versus emission. Tools mitigation. Reduction. Increase energy with the low capacity. Carbon reduction. Domestic foreign reduction. Reduction cost. Domestic foreign protection. Message. Job reduce leakage. Problem desire. Increase country. Moving on. Practice. Into border just without basic carbon reduction. Retaliation levels with that carbon reduction. Cannot bully carbon reduction. Technical carbon reduction. Uncertain government. Cannot bully country. Federal government. Federal government. First center. Federal government. Long-term investment. Carbon cost. Price. Ensure making from the international without friction. Carbon reduction. Making from the better towards the low shift towards low carbon production. Not all those is going to be more competitive. Climate change causes extinction. Brody and Watson 23. Climate change is accepted by humans. Reinforced emphasis. UNC activity. Competition. Vaccine. Society. Economic assessment. Or understand proportion. Others. Damage. Basic change. Extinction. Crisis. Climate change. Manifest. Rising climate. Without deforestation. Rising core risk cascade. It's a system. Disruptor. Risk amplifier. Sutherland 24. Rolling across the makes it more intensive. Industrials use. Inflicted trillions of damages. Climate change. Accidental emissions. Damage. Person. Other existing hazards. Economic. Countries. Reaching with race. Increasing extreme weather. Carbon pressing first widespread innovation of real technology with crush with the emissions of representing us in the carbon revenue president of our economic control of very technical control of economic management of the policies of the conversion of the energy and it is not an individual secretary of security conversion system of relation with 16 by 10 for conversation with specific governments when it comes to communication security affecting the border fixing metals and innovation inducing president president of the population public government and energy applications all about government is the only instrument that's officially incentivized development of Vanderbilt Burton 24 by 7 of the emission comes in the African corporation so which is about last year to make use of the chamber says a big adoption first more rules of the words use of pending place and being effective in more than half without pressing follow personal respect to user also the should then become very multiple versus new attorney that the version should BCG the percent Germany Brazil UK versus 1% lower cost of the US 35 pricing cost of the US and the sugar pricing is lower and vision over you is not maybe found more pricing close back from more than subsidy regular and technology 36% of first regular and subsidy now innovation. Easily discounted the other versus the West Coast of the British agrees with them something as well. Study to use for applications versus tech domestic. Adoption is the crucial first step towards global action. Roll like 18 inches spread. Commerce with 16 inches possibly use of versus government versus really positive people over the original risk government experience in the loss and everyone to back on the countries take most of the pricing system which is pricing government system Russia versus government and the country and the other commerce remains in the original increasing works with normal attacks is easily administrable within 20 all the way effective and for education complex border adjustment revisions and global play for alternative regulatory approaches violating US academic collective revision better presence with us on the mission and insurance surgery organization for rules methodology and education including usable assumption and organization of taxation which will get to the rules with support of education or carbon pay higher input to make it easier and information and including the micro can be for long cost of producing the mission will be goal of the countries using social cost of carbon set the price is critical to decarbonize out the alternative low cost benefit analysis best evidence of the West is even border economic determined to the process of the sky as the most valuable damages on the therefore pretty more solid immigration is unique and models as you see less than the terms of the value to the lowest federal action is key shall 1980 are going to the country's voter reservation to about its work if it's human to get an enormous single process loss and there was some relation on the possibility to the tax law should be able to make a contract with all you from the federal organizations from the city of Thomas across the border measures something should be challenging measures that take about all the time the burden plan the United States government should adopt annually increasing tax on greenhouse gas emissions in the United States. Advantage 2 is leadership using climate engagement to deeply damage the international standing of credible and emission action for dollars to use climate leadership EDF 21 figures of federal action for US and international public sector which will for those in the data for the immediate countries have been setting a target on treaty net zero emission below the 2015 version of the more common and the credible wild policy. Yeah, that record really important more common and grass versus vision credible short mix leadership advantage. Most of the other release more common and vision China and the IRA thinks that this climate leadership or further policy is critical to cement geopolitical influence Dallas 24 hours to use as an issue country. The much of the climate action mechanism when geopolitical usually by example the generation of the aggressive green national policy spending is up to the influence of leadership and the use to keep up to carbonization of the use for the China committing social advantage to sway markets and competition IRA shift is their leadership capitalism is their challenge policy we need to address the carbon tax solves the president's critical carbon emission reduction TDF 21 others agree to go for plus emissions reduction competition with topic passengers reduction available president driver national emission criminal policy restoring building when no climate action ambition needed to use all emissions and see whatever. I feel like the path might be incredible. It spills over to product level leadership, like favorite war leadership, but they should give us a responsible leadership, something. A gym leadership, leadership, great, really crossing control, the measure, the assumption of power, which is usually the best US actions, leadership, Michelle, I over company, for all the losses, compromise, taking policy, leadership, how to actively see the results of the common government, the crushing and recognition concept of Torres, the ability to actively find interest, not like organization, business, respect, and residing of the political nation, and impacting leadership, organization, complex, and support, Who's official draft on all this puzzle called team and all companies also send a new service to television signification language spine and his leadership global collaboration core fire carbon tax in action unclimate change establishes power reduction seeding speakers with saboteurs baker ball 20 years this whole man of measures China's world top expert use can have rules which are not living in the geographical way the progress of large film shooters and touches giving in influence in national climate change as well as countries as well as states like the measure of responsibility for organizations also use for massive molecular energy and geological power use basic organization also is global relationship use bigger power the energy of the government the energy comes should be working together to make like finish from the capacity for the trigger president options collaboration using models and everything in American possible to be credit perspective responsibility use American job by federal state regulation corporation government events and cultivate any variation of subject to the job of which is the real and working on worker reduce master credit reduction regulation across marketing driven sanitation capital feature plus government regulation again this is pretty cool this will be long to customers really take advantage of their law national like the lease which give it advantage of commercial governments how to see the government workers with the plan issues down the lines of the fresh air coming through their nature president government us if the use of the way join the Mexico education loans and requirements on the issue of some time last year was a record of China nation governments joining us at all those critical government directions from China launch no fishing pushing the launch of this was been so maybe using the national game is just China the government full church in the occupation maintain the farm for energy raising out of ways let's have the government international working with the opportunities and other responsibility along with the using corridor but also the process of making the national government and that's a personal institution as a fairly China like to say common question to react with the areas when the president understand that all trading with this work which we offer but to the areas even the last coalition going on commercial for reservation just a question not this low pressure pressure emotion this potential building there to go for the need to go for the give us some rest powers extinction maintaining US leadership ensures global peace Allison 24 times the constitution and our policy they would crush the rest of from China position of access to the world to give us US policy powers others all the world are going to zero promotion to the basic of the US like let's work in the world and also some sky budget data on the best access and the world access to also more both could be rest in the map CCP letter work cost extinction Kazakhstan 24 years political regime position on the land change inside the challenge regime that are ruins surveillance regulation of political freedom China like this past the US and great position challenges and the season for the regime with the security position recognition doesn't matter about power China regime the overtaking the leadership transmission for defense politics on the national national severe among the civic and the national the middle of the region the taxing town crazy food physical crazy such a bruce the best power regime to the nation countries doesn't matter both men it's not to try to corporate relations for versus warming government and nuclear programs only reclaiming climate leadership issues broader US influences on power outcome 20 years including energy carriers general from positive shift great action is an alternative as well as saying the qualification nuclear partnerships because there's a person to be part of the session for sure commercial the US the given as a problem the person to should use on the outside of the extension holding system actually contribute to the global state world control exception top line of the US is regarding the direction and national institution cooperation general without general to compare source person has a little bit energy can handle just because you got to conclude it's going to be a lot of money because there's cooperation diplomacy after president comes the guys in service challenge all challenge vision exception targets and those by severe example that's what action that the measures usually available offer meaningful alternative strong federal action as say EDF for education federal leadership also driving force of local common action damage and certifications to local efforts this report is saying local governments have to see the forces of government policies of fair to be certain local institutions federal leadership and more financial collective responsibility of all the discussion also commitments of the major ministers of the US and national policies are thrown off in the US and back and out to be restored to very diplomatic way principle global ambition no make feel too many policy options and go for crossings.
Got that? Yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to start by getting some election stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
Not for counterplans. What branch of the USFG does the act?
Margaret?
Yeah, I think like the
Is the plan immediate?
Yes.
Okay. Impacts warming. Your scenarios for conflict escalation are refugees. Is there any other internal to warming?
Yeah, resource disputes and settlement.
Okay.
And also there's another.
geoengineering.
Yeah, geoengineering causes conflict. That's the bottom of the settlement. And independently, the U.S. abandoning their allies external to the leadership scenario would also cause 4% of it.
Resource wars.
Resource wars, geoengineering, migration, the thing is.
Deterrence collapse.
Yeah, deterrence collapse. Which is external to leadership. It's like a separate scenario.
It's
Right.
all settlement.
Okay. How does warming cause extinction for reasons that are not war?
The Brody and Watson evidence lists a bunch of things. It says biodiversity decline, deforestation, rising ocean temperatures, threatened seafood food stocks, invasive species, again,
So what?
disease.
I think still don't totally understand the mechanism by which biodiversity decline like kills 8 billion people.
Sure, our evidence says that all those things kind of converge in a similar way when climactic cycles get to a point where there's too much carbon in the atmosphere that causes to cross tipping points. It says that that causes widespread famine, it causes, significant resource shortages, causes people to, again, the migration argument, that's something that some people are just physically displaced, so people die.
There's a set of planetary boundaries which, if crossed, make it in the long run impossible for humanity to survive. Biodiversity collapse removes several of those boundaries.
Advantage 2. Does the US need to solve warming to effectively demonstrate leadership?
Well, what do you mean need to solve warming?
So if we win a deficit to advantage 1,
what is a deficit?
Well, no, because nobody would know whether or not the outcome of a policy in the long run would be effective.
Perfect. Okay. The internal link, I don't understand it. Is it just like the plan makes America look good?
No, there's a couple of internal links. We've read a series of uniqueness claims, both in the Baker evidence and in the One-C Sutherland evidence, the other advantage actually, that allies are willing to risk abandoning the U.S. over inaction on climate change. They perceive it as an existential threat to them. They perceive that the U.S. is prioritizing, other concerns over it, which is bad, causing allies to...
Okay. So I understand why that might make allies disappointed.
So I have a second internal link.
Abandon?
Keep talking. I have a second internal link.
Okay.
Yeah, so the other evidence, the Wang and Fang and the Miller evidence also has an internal link about international institutions. Beijing is slowly taking control of many of them now. The plan has the U.S. reassert its leadership in those institutions. When the U.S. tries in the status quo, it fails because the U.S. gets shamed for being way too far behind the plan.
Okay, so is it more about how China perceives the United States or about how third parties perceive the United States?
We have internal links to both. When you say about how China perceives the United States, I assume you're talking about on climate change?
Yeah.
Less so about that. China perceives the United States relative to power projection, but how we are perceived in general about climate change is keep that. So that's...
Okay. I really have to go to the bathroom, sorry.
Hey, Marshall, can you add Bing to the chain? Thank you.
Is it CT?
Yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so it is 6 off-case positions,
How many?
advantage 1, advantaged
Sorry, how many?
6. Okay, both y'all got that?
I don't have broken. Okay,
All right, Jenny good? David, Arvin? All right. First off, security data, what is security, vehicle logic, stress, flexibility, research, fair enough, fall, those, graphs, division, noise, 24, warning, vehicle logic, damage, assessment, consider, shift, discrimination, responsibility, action, simulation, remove the body, vehicle logic, certificate, purview, motor, discrimination, environment, dissipation, action, majority, environment, speech, creates, video, budgetary, mass concerns, about the environment, which is more security, the whole lot, the division, the drain, the valve, the whole new clumps, and dollar, violation, capable, self-governance, and self-reliance, motivating, martial, return, mission, work, capable, serious, temporary, capable, violation, gas, office, sexual nature, resource, security, produce, new actions, regional, equipment, other capable, responsibility, using resource, deference, reject, security policies in the making, at least 15, if security policies, involve rights, specific, problems, evolution, but so much security policies, rights, values, what we can remember the secret control countries against the operations security issues that we should before differently when we encounter staff challenges in relation to follow up the contingent the conversation with security all making so countries settled is on the table. This course becomes settled as a loss of challenge security policy makes with this organized securitization. Next off is the account by the United States definitely discharge moon dust from the moon towards the range point 1 shade the earth from 1.7% device Einstein nation using sunshade's poison nuclear 21 drill into corrodite deposits injected with heated water rich pressurized CO2 line moon jet office warming Grogu 23 firing dust moon creates essentially good warming dust the cloud axis is sunshade 1 most promising method evolution new dust moon jet L1 again would be great 2% the threshold for reducing event there was already scored the dust and solar energy can be hard to use will escape velocity needed so did sunshade flow gas saying it's 21 one way so the sunlight which is over the blessings energy looking for the sun and this less to the recent tech developments of launch vehicles will also always look at sun space energy can be built soon it can easily be scaled down so it can be CO2 can see for the pre-industrial value would be necessary to increase solar flex 1.7% perodite soaks up all emissions and you stand perodite get your warm perodite reacts coverage is the line centrally but also injected with heated water rich with pressure as usually can spend about 1,000 times carbon capture would be on some reaction which generate heat fraction water actually exposed reaction with more solution or country goes to days up perodite so more than 500 years of emissions each plank solves leadership is credible and demonstrates ambition internationally next office elections Harrison's now metric down route 939 the campaign scores the sense of looks in the side of the group key aviation for decimal national bullshit Harrison excluding the most recent bullshit Harrison 48 from 46 basic the winners inside of SBC the aviation betting odds for Harrison carbon tax cost Harrison election Cold War 20 carbon excellence 100 policy makes that change next month for how much policy with raise people's bills polling days yes never worry about policy physical costs when notice these things are highly tuned to the gas station evidence decimal point impacts fuel affects low inverters and driving car market makes every system politician liable Trump 2 first uses nukes to the roads to turn distinction country 24 Trump to keep proposed great thought of martial soccer speakers obligation for the coming extension with about just like more compass Trump's calendar about to Trump's South LD Trump encourage Russia to whatever they want to to scrutinize and Russians in the weeks Trump good erode the credibility of Americans to turn to Russia shots on admissive is coming next all is the prices DA electricity is cheap now Tarek in 24 The US low electricity prices just comes from the lowest but the world showed below the rest of the EU, China, and Russia, and Japan, electricity goes to AI, they're starting with a better pace pricing. Carbon triggers fast, uncoordinated electrification that spikes energy prices since 24. EPC pumps electric prices with more than double electricity demand, so it's going to carbon taxes to be gas and people switching pumps with right there's also industrial electricity demand, keeping blackouts and all like to regional production lines, reaching works with the while will these supply shortages and massively increase prices, increase renewable penetration, inflates prices and breaks the great bottom of 23. Wind is only dependent weather and temperature and power levels 1% of the year, the independent potential plants and function to have battery. This double building is every single electricity cost increase the theory is unknown. What theory can be added to the good before breaks becomes like a form of certain and the points of good will become overlap costs of account use a source of mercy by the peace solar out for peak may peak wind across the night there's significant seasonal mismatch theories produce too much power when not needed not enough when needed there may be breaking more the ratio theories dispatchable generation so high the dispatch portion can no longer smooth supply battery storage prices have turned down thanks to socially for the seasonal mismatch going beyond the current 20% penetration as a gamble skyrocket electricity prices grid stability as a consequence high electricity prices enable China to be strong American AI leadership loyal at 24 AI heralds a new ancient American sector dominance only for American people electricity level the power problems for AI Saturn Google consume 10-18 terawatt hours more than many nations rising prices but over coming to China China's issues cash coming in could surpass the US American been forefront of technically has been abundant energy extinction yet 23 superior aggregate deploy China's influence led effects included by China railway both recent developing islands living tensions tires and accident western countries that try to outpace China and extinguish China is rapidly developing a missile and without safeguards regulatory lag China makes children adequate regulations given the pace of AI advancement next off top quality NBI requires the creation of a market retail 15 market-based interest rates minus to releasing with the creation market taxes violate black 21 a carbon tax is not a market-based mechanism no market fixes the amount of pay voting issue taxation adds a litany micro mechanism that explode the research burden of engineers next off is the oil DA
Prices are high enough to backstop Vision 2030. It's key to Saudi diversification. Alstom 8-1 Vision is accelerated with the current investment boom represented push towards diversification, infrastructure, economy, by international also focus on renewable energy, biotech, and manufacturing technology. Advancing ability to harness oil revenues for public investment, public investing, eliminated by revenues to 75 Vision 4. Encompassing the paper, return to goods, capital, machinery, and services, all going to be the exclusive source of earnings diversified, will enable Saudi to prepare for the post-oil future, stability, resilience, persistence, or risk in the event of protracted decline. While 2024 oil prices allow inspection or physical path and form momentum will be tested in decline of oil revenues. Successful climate policy curtails demand for Middle Eastern oil imports, collapses price and transmissions. Al-Sari 23 vehicles to oil exporters negative patent middle prices and projects to oil winds. Will support the social welfare system of employment transfers policy to reduce emission goes back to oil exporters, which and exporters day budgets to mitigate use of fossil fuels will curtail demand in those countries. And maybe the high mitigation cost of those countries are the best. Further accelerating transition may flood market shock prices, see the lower activity rate losses, sudden loss of oil revenue before diversification is complete. Trigger Saudi collapse and there was a war or 10 and 20 splitting gold countries to prevent oil by establishing social contract and guarantees supply of loyalty, monarchies, specified social side wars, binding loyalties, alliances, lower prices, general uncertainty, insecurity, danger to currency, regimes and bolstering confidence, gold states, ability, diversification, collapse will be managed and without increased confidence, ability, across the Middle East conflict goes global nuclear, Avery 20 years by developing world with the impacts by over inside of it, introducing nukes, Russia, China, Georgia, regional war, general legal use, intention by accident or miscalculated one happen as a global family, good choice of position, cross focus, speculation, goes on the decade of which win, follow the advantage. Yes, make fiat is key to test the one you see intrinsic reciprocal fair and counterparts are educational, carbon pricing, gain emissions, or promoting innovation. In the last 16 empiric circles, 20 Norway, which were the highest price emission was 70% more use demand, listening people come design, demand less as price increase, evidence makes weather price provide cheaper substitutes. In the capital trade for innovation decline, in the EU, low carbon trade, increase less 1% commercial item because of my juice price of energy, the price of oil already fluctuates more than tax reduce, which 2% there's nothing compared to what needs to be done. The market circumvents measure, many errors kill, enforcing costs, when you market which don't work in the build, way to rely on measure performance companies report emissions estimates, it was provided by the accurate BTA foundation, emission from the environment, measurement is implement hours and accurate price picture, monitoring data, is with something that doesn't reflect reality. Confusing gaming or flattening variability, income strategies makes 100 having uniform and statement. This is a simple line instruction good. Assumption collides such as having great bias and favorable market strategies. Forward emissions and natural availability negate solvency. Sheehan 24. Global emissions would still allow, would still grow due to non-US emissions. So the US reduces over of emission. China do not sell the obligation to substitute fossil fuels for low prices. Weaker prices for higher demand outside the US. Leading faster growth, variables good. Reverse effective sun eruption, changing color configuration, axial total offset benefits. Leakage zero solvency. CPA fails because of complexity. Rebound external 19 US decrease emission for global emissions. Versus 20% tax incentive to relief from the tax jurisdictions and fossil energy supplies every element of supply chain enforcement. Will be enormously costly. Also notable to non-compliance quality when you false precedent. Fall precedent does work to mitigate emissions reduction. No warming impact. One geological record. Bruce Fowler, Torres at 23. Data is documented. Expect conversation bring about connection against the good reasons. While enjoying the BTM, there was 70 above the EPs, not only the best extinction charge, disruptive rising BTM rapid before this is something about agreement. Highest question testing is enjoying growth. 6 years, 8 years, abundance of temperatures on the worst case scenarios of the whole scene. Humans are up to these humans. We're taking forward, survive 2 climate wars and nuclear denied by cooperation border 23. It's outrageous to assume 100 makes people aggressive. Water was 100 pound constantly gas for water, but ballistic attack fashion ways of dealing with scarcity and management. Water has been broken up for 2,500 years. Comments in order. Also, punishment together in the face of common environmental threat. 3. The impact is marginal, slow, and buffeted by tech and infrastructure growth. 24. Infrastructure retirement, material life, the relation between climate and weather. A significant dams, flood control, and harder infrastructure. Helpless English weather or the one emergency response less than what is anticipated. Issues 5 national grid, power grid, the issues, and events at the largest rain. And the event they had dropped 10 inches instead of producing a lot of economic scale. Also, can get chemical factors such as wind shear, which make it harder for hurricanes to develop. Expect activity as decreasers. Then they're turning development into floods and droughts. Conditions shifted the basic function of earth into what humans along from with great issues outside of the reach society dealt with. More no biology impact and ultra costs of warming. Outweigh Kara 22 threats of risks increasing global events of climate change, dwarfing habitat loss, ag over exploitation, pollution, invasive species, zero consumption, functions, most important, which are rejecting the exam cases of extinction. 1900 of the case habitat losses equal by 3 or more. And advantage 2, defense to advantage 1 answers this one as well. If the plan doesn't solve warming, it doesn't establish leadership. The CBA turns leadership and harms partners more than the pressure trying to kill. 21 the CBA can reduce more than trying to practice CBC, but it targets small number of patients. It sets commodities over the footprint degrees from with long supply chains from foreign protects and jobs active out from China, Brazil, accounts for 80% of US steel imports. It says I have carbon pricing. Climate leadership is so bad. Higgins 24. Not only does the US control Congress one day Biden put his first strengthening group in Biden forget the FFF industry when the aim is to give additions with fossil fuels Biden represents money to cascading global prices through executive action legislation. This reverse the active form of Trump, but also a massive greatest climate action ever by any president. Only getting started behind it. Prepare to finalize pollution standards, energy standards, plans for oil growth and more. No leadership impact empirics about less than 20. The world may be equally peaceful. All the US got forced to drop the nice walls. All spending even unequivocally US getting cover after Iraq to ship from post what's after to continue which engine cannot take credit abilities which engine not extend. Soft power all causes Gaza torture and drone strikes all damage America's reputation. China lacks the means and motive for its essential order by 23. Assessment of China between based on shared analysis rates of propaganda over the opportunity reality far from moving it can seek to replace the US China development largest limited by agreement addressing needs at home Beijing prefers peaceful unification. China did lose a war face sanctions. These would be devastating jeopardize regime security jubilation facing economic headwinds and strict population. There is bound to recognition China. It remains military technologically weaker than modernization depends on a stable order. Go back to advantage 1. No investment internally following is a certain bond. Too long in 23 carbon price and now the alcohol market actors may not expect price of price to continue to reverse into reversible carbon intensive capital. The policy making have to set carbon taxability off the level for reasons of political economy. Fossil fuel subsidies all cause they muddy the plans price signal green 21. Carbon pricing guys average carbon prices lowering fossil subsidies can come with the fossil fuel subsidies amount for 5.2 trillion subsidies for the average global carbon price below 0 pricing is failing on its own terms. Institutions check and co-op is always more likely than balance Crawford 22. Communities have institutions and mechanisms to co-op in the face of common stressors. Co-op and water support the normal common mass majority cases of resources are shared and common work out via treaties and its successful analysis of the council can regulate competitions models or achieve the balance that reflects expert consensus for essentially 3. Expert strength competitions one of the most handled international drive economy development competition and resource dependency offset to reverse competition study categorized for reduced water speeds out of hundreds wolf see not a single instance of war.
Yes. Alright. Stats for anything? Conditional. Can you kick points?
Graham? No.
Can you amend the counterplans?
Graham? No.
Can you read 2 and C counterplans?
Graham? We'll decide after Tuesday.
Well, no, yes or no?
No, not yet. That's a student.
Reserve the right to read 2 and C counterplans. Cool.
Maybe.
The security K is the alt pick.
No.
You can't do anything with that. Any product plan?
Oh, it can solve the case, but it doesn't do the
How does it solve the case?
So we will make arguments about how rejection of security logic opens up spaces for cooperation on things like climate change.
Does it
Because
think clean energy policy is a good idea?
the alternative?
Yes.
Not the 1AC, no.
Does it think clean energy, that's not like a question of sense, does it think clean energy policy is a good
So
idea?
the types of things that the alternative will commit to is like cooperative management of resources as opposed to thinking of them
Wait,
as,
cooperative with who?
what do you mean?
What does that mean? Like, is it states cooperating with each other? Is it individuals?
States, people,
So
communities. who
US
have
and China
resources.
cooperate with each other? US and
Like countries who have a shared dispute over a resource.
okay, this is not. The oil dissent, the 1 and C Higgins card you got on case says the administration is finalizing pollution standards on power plants and vehicles. It is doing energy standards, plans for forests, etc. That it said overcame the influence of global fossil fuel industry and helped win the first transition away from fossil fuels. The link is just generic climate policy is bad for oil. Why doesn't it help?
If those solve the case, vote take up presumption.
That's the answer.
It's, our link is too successful climate policy.
So those weren't successful.
Well, you have to say that to win your case, so.
Okay, that's fine. The elections DA, the countrymen, what are all the impacts to Trump's second term?
First use of nuclear weapons.
Stop there. Against who?
Against any country.
What do you mean? What countries?
Well, so our argument is that Trump lacks moral compass and would probably arbitrarily for sure.
Did he lack moral compass in 2016?
We will make arguments if you
No, make an
that
argument
case.
now. Did he lack moral compass in 2016?
So our argument will be that loyalists were able to step in the first time. That will be different because Trump has greater experience and mastery over the tools of the
You said
presidential
first strike, other impacts?
erosion of nuclear deterrence.
How? Why? What does he do?
So Trump's aberrative conduct means that adversaries do not think that the U.S. will credibly.
Wait, no. You just said that Trump was like threatening to first strike everyone. So
Okay,
how is
so
that
both of these are underpinned by the consistent thesis that Trump has absolutely no idea, like when scenarios of deterrence are acceptable or not, how to manage conflict
Wait.
scenarios.
So
or crisis
if they
scenarios.
don't know whether Trump is going to nuke them or not, why would that make them think that they are free to do things that might cause Trump to nuke them?
Well, because if they take a salami slicing instance of aggression and see no response,
Okay,
then
are
they
there
think
any
that
other
they're-
scenarios other than erosion of deterrence and a first strike?
I don't think so, Graham.
Not as of the 1 and C.
Okay, sounds good. The advantage counterplan, does it do all this stuff unilaterally?
Yes.
Okay. Indefinitely discharge dust from the moon, what does that mean?
So we grind up rocks and shoot it into space.
Wait, so we grind up rocks from the moon?
Yes.
Do we have to send people up there to get the rocks?
Yeah,
Do you
our
feel
evidence
that?
says this could
Wait, do you
be
feel
built
that?
very soon.
Wait, you don't feel like get the rocks though, right?
No, we do.
It's not in the counterplan?
We are gonna take.
Tap that.
voice cards?
At the bottom of advantage. Yes, we did.
Okay. What do you- No, I sent it to the English in the last debate. Okay, this time to write some school backwards. Okay. Okay, the order is the warming advantage, the leadership advantage, T, the advantage counterplan, the security pay, the elections decide, the Saudi oil decide, the electricity prices decide. Are you good?
Yes.
Warming causes extinction, loss of temperature, rising ocean temperatures, spreading invasive species, deforestation, biodiversity decline, proven out with every metric of impact, calculus of eroding, and lost evidence, accuracy, siege, and the defense of societal interactions caused growing ocean temperature. War impact is actual news, even if it causes extinction, is still estimated as a southern evidence, which when does not contest the Stokes evidence. Carbon pricing doesn't feel Norway had major exemptions for the carbon price in the EU. Carbon price is set very, very low and also has major exemptions. When any evidence is extensive economic and modeling that concludes solvency is true in the United States. It sends registrations for new patents in response to the planned carbon tax reservation, increasing subsidies and financial incentives decrease the cost of renewable subsidies. Have documented a significant positive relationship between carbon pricing and the number of patent 12 for green technologies and living the Boston evidence, which also answers the subsidy cost because it prices those things in necessary to become cost advantageous post-plan despite subsidies. The Gauss evidence is wrong. Carbon tax also creates a carbon incentive to improve energy efficiency, develop green technology. The patent and limits to include the carbon reductions and uses are sufficient to reach Paris goals. Taxes are easily administrable. The Hillman evidence and the one he says there are only a few options so far as the information is already given to the EPA, which also answers the argument about CBM still because it says that other countries are in front of the EPA got down and no leakage one was done with Paris is enough. That's holding 21 emissions to one. Further impact on various actions for psychological US action, global action, one based leadership, innovation, financial market, RT's international action too is easy to administer companies again reporting these data since 2007 and their international agreed upon standards excessive analysis. Reason the effect of the Hillman evidence, the Northwestern evidence goes out and says the tech needs to increase. Natural variability is wrong. Climactic cycles occur. We've never had this much carbon in the atmosphere. Once the wind chill stuff is bunk science. When you see the first carbon, when you see advantage, just says that it's wrong. The all cause of biodiversity stuff is wrong. The all cause of the evidence science are habitat loss, ag, expansion, and pollution, which all the other causes listed. Obviously, we solve those things. They are doing so those things are decreasing now. The third side evidence is wrong. It's philosophy. It's a philosophy professor writing a long-term spread out. There are no qualifications. He's setting Hall said that when you see writing evidence, index is modeled by name. Previous rapid warming was natural. When you see impact is about anthropocentric emissions. The Werner evidence because that was about heat causing conflict, not migration or shortages. Those cannot induce cooperation, leadership advantage. The CBM turn is wrong. There's no more in the evidence. It's citing a bill proposed in Congress that was much more than a foremost market-based instrument in climate policy. 3, the return makes no sense. Markets do set the prices raised through social cost of carbon. 4, return is better. The return makes sense works because there's no price on carbon. Any link to all carbon cost would not lead because the market consistently changes the price of the good. 4, functional limits. Campaign elections between other industry necessitate 90% of the absent topic, reasonability, or interpretation. Only has one additional carbon tax, and there's a ton of negative options against the Rex counterplan, or advantage counterplan. Both permanently kind of links to fluctuate because it spikes prices. It also makes the oil side because it nukes the industry. It solves all warming only tax. Because the economy by incentives to shift to energy where you say burger business competitive only pricing stalls. Paying 20 for research. Is the bill has 5 with this 5 measures from 20 countries 5 years ago. The money cost measures have been every day. A successful case is inclusion of tax prices. More policies not lead to better outcomes. Rising measures is crucial. Only price based interest lower substantial reductions. Does not solve leadership only tax with some shopping commensurate economies. Like your purchase trust credibility average proves with disproves potential. That's EDF Baker does evidence error absolutely. Who is comparatively most essential? That's the weighing evidence. I have a card to answer this moon rock plank during the queue. Actually, no, I have it right here. Moon jets fail 1 and 2 honor possible that's evidence 2 impossible no parts of having capacity and Elton 23 plan. Sounds like a sci-fi mouse to have more massive moon than ever launched. 1 and 2 don't have evidence requires real growth. We don't have this. It shows are 20 failed launchers. Robots are powered by a bank of solar panels. The sun argument is wrong. Kelvin 23 city. It was in this conference and realizing people have to go fossil fuels to large sun chain will have solar radiation with more shelter out of the position. We also look at wrong positive between massive there's unrealistic massive and sorry this far engineering wise people ideas got to be on the line. And technology that developed a big drought. If you block out the sun, the limit cool temperature would go down. Precipitation would be everything. But wrong with the shield, Earth would warm back around with these conservation problem cooperating Canada and Russia got money more agriculture improve. The Chinese want to cooler crystallization fails their night carbon includes Link's Gardner aid method. Record that's possible as potentially gas leak back into the atmosphere. Best science proves it takes one solid and or all 17 tests. Periodic lead performance experiments to quantify the stresses on the carbonation curves of solid periods of conditions. See future moves the other slugs into the greater precipitation. Also running precipitation restrictions such as for blocking and grain boundary blocking occurred. Mark the card and occurred caught us winner. For time the tragedies keeping the securities out office space plus guard leverage against counterplays disco and infinite testing on the ground solve their offensive security game framework permutation the security game where the actors dealing against unique links and competitive alternative can solve the impact of those links. The impact is slash for second field space point for research permutation do both. The second advantage is an impact towards the alternative securitization. It's good to press more traffic using investigation of the LIO picks or voter. Seals will be ready to have office makes it possible for us to garner any research that's based in literature which turns clash and fairness cover what? Okay, counter reveals most key essential change agency. They consider the cause of extinction now. Only extra traps can motivate action in the elections system. Well, the alternative feels again. So for other countries, emissions are deep because there's an alternative way to guard against emissions and also cannot serve as China to guard an impact to the election system. Needs to push to bring down Miller, not to need to this is to not to 63.8% chance when the electoral college will include your crisis to yourself about it, but it's not linked for providing economic policies. In terms of how public everyone capital and carbon taxes popular, not to 26% of the part carbon tax revenue. Mutual tax laws will be used to develop majority for to make some of the American for high taxes generally solving big visual thing as the might be different portion of immigration that matters. Significantly more done is the app after surprises and letting the hot sauce the signal the plan brains 877 reducing the venture supplies major escalation all the issue Jordan fighting Gaza from regional and Russia to trauma argument that the regulation produce world affair Gaza venture depressed. Enthusiasts are young progressive people of Americans particularly in Michigan other progressive rich and Israel shop right into the coalition to change way to another shop like issues seriously and has been for issues that has been for economy for the economy by church talk who produce new chaos sanctions factor terminal energy markets the economy Yemen to these employments to serve us to hurt the administration of Russia to size look in Ukraine fight Trump tries but it does not matter trouble said the election the achievement refused to have votes Russia will hack it regardless of the result or Russia will hack it regardless of the result Trump is paying strain this economy 9-10 minutes switches by energy switching to 40 million source of fighting presiding over stability personal policy candidates over the running for Pompeo the right to be caught hurting some of those who produce that policy consistency for Trump is going to engage policy reduction and forcing diplomacy that goes to the running for the Trump of the vice policy will different structure for diplomacy for 18 Ukraine also forcing case so they don't get rid of the country versus ceasefire by also for making ceasefire will also ceasefire to take more time with Saudi oil this summer turns oil prices like changes between weather events investments rotations diminished volatility and inevitable emission reductions only are key to solve costs in all 24 frigid temperature conditions and arms is normal companies like an alternate increasing base volatility increases special inflation also increases also hot upper prices supply short term rises in inflation hot periods intensity productivity and prices to increasing base volatility increasing difficulty under price supply shocks inflation pressure from climate change making monetary policy more difficult the absence of price adaptation versus number of ways to unfortunately have ever spikes on purchasing power market card purchasing power oil prices are low that's purging 9-11 level 6 decline that's some good especially between oil and gas and combination uncertainty and reducing and China's power to increase in OPEC plus will ramp oil production COVID is regional link prices for negative even thumbs in border adjustment and significantly decrease export Saudi is resilient average 10-24 increase oil countries Saudi reduced GDP country based on the way and return marks supported by non-oil economy vision 2030 supports in countries growth benefits hydrocarbons sector lower has had little impact on global economics relates to contracts with the economy real GDP's forecast to the back of non-oil economy heavy state investment and economic diversification other countries feel in China need to continue buying more returns Saudi stability turns massive GDP losses through outcrops natural disasters and migration that's southern evidence so Middle East war Carlin 19 conflicts otherwise subsidy by Saudi because of the rise of taking imports after the successful U.S. to make the U.S. contain Israeli counter Saddam's and build a presence that and muffle dispute chances of war low to any time it comes to use electricity prices disable plan solves electricity prices makes renewables cost of planet which makes the net price of generation lower in the long term the plan solves the impact that's EI 24 electric bills record human bills and possible climate change impacts on like gas prices cost of hardening bills keep rising clean energy costs on prices lower bills to the highest point slow season as season prices living plans make reducing compromise prices are outpacing inflation. The plan solves as it states 815 price electricity. It's a huge price having people price of people cost basis per decade inflation. Rates only had 4.9%. The drivers view it wealthy investors by public energy software price electricity. It's must impact report energy gain fossil fuel prices reaching by the bill on soft rising market hard rising the plan solves China competition to fall on. The carbon tax because the VCA their electricity prices reportedly spiking. Link is true. The internal link is wrong. Electricity prices are global because the inputs are the same. So the plan causes a spike in China too. The internal link is wrong. Cooper compelled 22 global competition between these countries are talking about Chinese and they should only behind the building of what's done. It's a market, I success market. Regarding global social investments on time orders, the countries are making these results industry trigger progress. No leverage in the industry. China's featuring the automation and manufacturing for almost as labor. Unrest and still those bipartisan support for AI and NC by Pennsylvania for task force and drug flows as well as the capital body researchers. There are some past activities used to office industry that China has been caught up. Mark the Carp dominates the soccer US as a world. She's even reduced including hydrogen research and she's talking about 7 top largest number of technology unicorns. Mark the Carp technology. What? No, they answered it. The link is wrong. It's EF 24 gold bars. But right is impossible as common change off the energy. The data is clear. The energy is on cost electricals. One of the biggest factors price volatility, utility investments from aging coal plant, other than aging coal plants, economy, energy, electricity spikes, and renewable solar, range, making source. A growing cost of price temperature, electricity more expensive than ever, climate, cost, control the air assets, power, need to. Turns out we need to transition cost, pass on trade price, outages, so cost 1.5 people per trillion. Okay, I'll send my question. And also, I'll send the, I forgot to send out the card here to the first bank, the 2 cards, so I'll send that.
Okay.
You said it's set.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Are you ready for cross-X? Okay, I want to start with something that you said on T. You said the market determines the price of the app. I just want to get a clarification.
Well, in terms of externalities, like we think the social cost of carbon forces companies to internalize that, which means that it's not just the government, like we were only placing a price.
Well, so
there's a calculation.
I think a phrase was like the market determines the social cost of carbon.
I might have phrased it weird, but what I just said is the argument.
Okay, so is it a fixed price?
What do you mean?
The tax of the app?
Planet tax says that it increases annually.
Right, but it's not determined by the market.
Well, the original calculations that go into the social cost of carbon are based on market externalities.
Yes, it's also tied, is indexed to inflation.
Okay, what does the image of a swing voter look like who like cares about immigration more than like gas prices?
No, the argument is that people who are iffy on gas prices are already voting conservative because of immigration.
Wait, why?
Because they think it's a threat.
Okay, but
Trump's campaigning on it and saying that immigrants are the ones taking our jobs, the class, and the economy. People who care about the economy that much are probably already voted for Trump because of the threat posed by immigration.
In comparison to the app, though, what voter cares more about immigration than a tax? Like, just what does that voter look like?
Our point isn't that they aren't voting for Trump now. Our argument is that it's not a like immigration causes people to vote the other way. Our argument is that anyone who's that scared of the economy is probably already voting for Trump. If
Okay.
that makes sense.
Sure. The leadership advantage, so post-IRA, they're looking for, like other countries around the world are looking for credible policies. Is this about China or third-party states, kind of like one easy thread?
Oh, yeah, we already said this earlier. Evidence is both about China and third-party states. The most significant internal link, I will say admittedly, our card does reference third-party states a lot more than China, but our evidence does also reference China.
Okay, are third-party states sufficient or just kind of cool? Like, is that a sufficient condition to solve the advantage, just solving third-party states?
We have multiple internal links, so it's sufficient to solve our internal link about like abandonment likely, but it's not sufficient to solve our internal link about international institutions and Chinese presence or U.S. projection.
What ally abandons the U.S. because they didn't do a carbon tax?
Our evidence says that East Asian allies are considered banning the U.S.
Okay, we have treaty commitments to those allies. Let's be real here.
No.
Why does the plans or the inaction of the plan or the,
Our internal evidence says that China is using the BRI to increase leverage with those countries. It decreases the utility of our treaty commitments to them
wait,
because they no
is your
longer
argument
see.
that like Japan's going to join the BRI or something?
It's about regional influence and the credibility of U.S. commitments despite the expansion of the BRI, right? It's like China's going to influence
The BRI is
not that
gonna
they'll
be
join, but they'll
close
feel
to-
threatened by it.
A treaty turns into just
Okay, but how does that-
very quickly when China knows that the U.S. has no intent to enforce it because the U.S. and the ally are feuding over other issues.
Okay, what kind of deterrent effects does the plan create for like building more BRI?
We've actually
jet
had
tracks?
reverse causal evidence that says that the U.S. taking lead on climate issues allows us to create an effective alternative to the BRI to export energy, increase global coordination with our allies about
I don't think that
trade,
matters
issues, we make climate or evidence. It's very clearly reverse causal in this question.
All right, we'll start. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Just checking the box. Did the Tracy read the peak oil card on the oil DA?
No.
Okay, great. Okay, 7. We've been in this room all day. No sun. Yeah. Sure, yeah, I can do whatever you I have to be so honest right now.
Got myself out of it. Hey, fuck. We're good. Okay, maybe I can't do that actually. Whatever. Oh, I fixed it.
speed too. Got it. The doc is sent. Is everybody ready for an order?
Yes.
The advantage counterplan, the electricity prices DA, advantage 1 warming, advantage 2 leadership. Yes. Is Grimson good? Anyone not ready? Not going for the counterplan, can see the permits to test a combination. Unfortunately, there's a panel, so I have to answer condo. It's good. 1 flex, we need multiple options to counterbalance add-ons. A huge topic, infinite prep and 2 recency bias. 2 quantum thinking, testing the plane from multiple angles teaches the app to triangulate themselves between extremes. 3 innovation, fallbacks, and encourage experimentation because it prevent new arcs from tying the next hands. 4 logic, disclosure should always be on the table. Can't vote AF on theory because it doesn't affirm the resolution defense. It's reciprocal AF terrorism, time constraints, and benefit requirements check. Or stickers with the counterplans concede reasonability. Strats give good, it forces smart time allocation and critical thinking. It's inevitable speed and procedurals diminishing returns check. Disco bad, it links to our offense because it lets the 2A pick to 2AR. It doesn't solve because, or 2NR, it doesn't solve because we can tack on planks to force permutations. Not gonna, gonna answer geoengineering. It doesn't cause more health than 18. States are extremely likely to use weather mod allocations or ban of limited use given inherent unpredictability committing against cheaper means. SAI is characterized by multiple light controls, counteractive emissions, fluorocarbons, also cooling powerful active to discourage using military threats, counteracting the effects of renewable deployment. If you buy a coalition does not, and teachers could not precipitate nuclear war. DA. Rogue AI causes extinction. Should have read defense. Benign commands get executed to their extreme, causing human disassembly. That way, Spartan 23, likelihood of AI leading to extinction exceeds common nuclear war combined escape. Lead to full extinction as well, constantly improving AI, opening feedback to the loops and intelligence explosion. AI can execute goals, given such a goal by coming malicious actor not. I don't know if we get a corrupted, configured fake reality, extinction by a side effect of executing another goal. Most probable dialogue and human rationality check their impacts, but there's no room for error with super intelligence. The link alone is an extinction impact. It's not inevitable, and high prices turn renewables for 23. With prolonged outage, communications fail, processing with editors, services, military habitable, or rust breakout, fuels, rubber, possible red class society, transit to a less reliable work system, electricity be trying to get through sustainability, coming to be resolved by relaxing the time horizon, producing emissions while maintaining energy abundance. AI solves warming, plant fails without it. Hot 24, green changes require energy investments, legacy systems, crucial optimizing energy use and buildings, transform manufacturing, has been industrial, simply cutting emissions, also AI, accelerate fusion tech art, and take it infinite clean energy. The transition can be made without different attempts to run on renewable, unlike industry would issue AI being our savior. It turns leadership. AI is the primary determinant of military balance. And the perception that the US is falling behind causes allies to jump ship, which is their argument. Now the link D at the top, renewables cannot solve price spikes even if they're cheaper in the future for reasons that I'm about to explain. Links, 1 carbon tax dropped. It causes a demand surge for electricity because everyone will quickly switch to heat pumps, EVs, and other electricity prices. The grid will buckle under the strain that seasons. Carbon pricing is only solved and it massively increases prices. Quarantine 20 pricing leads to the largest increase in electricity prices on intensity standards with subsidizing clean energy emissions operates in currently raising cost of radio generation pricing leads to the largest increase in marginal cost of generation pricing yields. Lower generation 2 renewables. We are impact turning solvency. Wind and solar are bad because they produce too much energy when not needed and not enough during peak demand. That's manifest. That causes supply crunches that spike prices. Manifest 23. Options side of the solution sees some source limitations, low high cost and low efficiency, and others found the consistency, grid instability, power costs, increases the for renewable penetration, increases going beyond carbon penetration, is risk power demand for grid is projected to be virtually found in the next 30 years. So change dramatically, electrifying the entire economy, seasonal storage would compound supply. The plan is not solved fast. Link outweighs the turn. Ours kicks in early, which means that the grid buckles before the app can effectively smooth supply. There are inherent frictions in our ability to switch over to fossil fuels. like transmitting, permitting, etc. You have to retrain entire people, entire industries. There are economic frictions that bottleneck the speed of the transition, which prevents their return links from kicking in. Fossil fuels don't cause inflation because they're dispatchable, abundant, and can be stockpiled to smooth supply. 123 fossils provide 80% of energy needed to remove. Won't have much higher inflation. We don't have the tech to get to the achieve this 100% control supply of our argument renewables and already cancel demand to produce less of the abundant fossil resources we provide energy for 350 years. Texas and Wyoming have 300 billion barrels filling their SPR 400 times. If they make an argument that warming turns electricity prices, that is slow, far off, and will be answered by our adaptation stuff on the case. Regardless, it is still try or die. And when warming causes it in the future, we will have established safe AI, and China will not have established leadership. They say follow on. Really quickly, uniqueness. Cheap electricity now. U.S. prices have plateaued and held steady over several years. They're especially cheap relative to industrial competitors. That's back to the extent that it's increasing. It's the same pace of inflation as inflation. EEI 911. The change in average electricity prices across the U.S. severe inflation increased by less than 1% inflation adjusted. That's true across the vast majority of the country. Graph in the dock. EEI 911. Over the past 10 years, electricity prices increased in most states, probably 4% points of inflation. Wholesale prices are low and will be reduced. 24 wholesale electricity prices are slightly lower than 2023 because they're reliable. A relatively stable generation costs. EIA forecasts wholesale prices range between 30 and 40 in the cities. What is versus natural gas wholesale? Electricity markets and prices at the level average cost lower due to the lower natural gas. The 2C card that they read concedes the link as does H15 as transportation gets electrified. Demand spikes are becoming larger. The faster the transition, the greater the shock and supply. So even if some renewables are inevitable, that later would not cause blackouts, etc. AI they say follow on. A BCA can't move the needle on China. Bloomberg News 22. She has promised slow and steady end emissions and energy security taking top priority as country contends with flying economy to hold fuel markets. Produce with government efforts to eventually zero emissions. Costs running comes after a spate of power shortages. She has made China's path clear. Won't stop burning fossil fuels until covenant clean energy can replace them. If they are right that China's evil, revisionist, and wants to leapfrog the United States, they would certainly not adopt it because they know it would hamstring domestic energy. So their narrative of China is inconsistent. Now the internal link defense, the 2EC Cooper evidence is the best uniqueness card I've ever seen. The U.S. will crush the AI race now, but none of these cards assume our internal link. But that's because energy is cheap and it's its highest input cost, so escalation costs is rapid. Offshoring Economist 24 AI has evidence. Appetite for electricity is not clear. Will there be enough clean energy to meet everyone's needs? It's designing to build a renewable capacity quickly. It takes 3 years to deliver. Transform intrastates pushes the cost of the transition is top shortage of energy. Looking at the cost of the energy cost of running them storage with the rest of the station electrification. The rest of the economy is highly dependent. AIV scramble would push up prices. Less rest of the renewables solve card was answered above. Advantage 1. Drop down to impact defense. This is the app's Achilles heel. They've already been buried in evidence and it will only get worse because they have 2 warming impact cards. No impact 1, geological record. Humans survived rapid double-digit climate shocks in Greenland, the Swiss Alps, and American coasts, and thrived during Holocene warm periods. Humans now are dispersed, rich, populous, mobile, and capable of adaptations. We're better equipped than our ancestors. That's the first ad. Our author is qualified. He has a PhD and is an existential risk scholar and is building on whatever the 2EC author that they indict his model and corrects for his problems too. No climate wars. They blew this off. It's a sloppy, unsupported thesis with no support. States cooperate, not fight, because that's cheaper, easier, and better, and conserves scarce resources. That's one card I can't remember. Also, when Crawford dropped institutions. When Crawford says states cooperate. Treaties like the Indus and Councils in the Arctic have survived wars, which is also the words. Dropped expert consensus. Warmer states are no more prone to conflict and all causes like development are stronger. Correlates no refugees. War Syria empirically denies it. Who do states go to war with? Why are they going to go to war with refugees? Makes negative sense. Geoengineering was answered on the other page. And they also didn't highlight that in the 1AC3 adaptation and check buffer the impact. Humans are not sitting ducks. We can reinforce dams, use AC, or set up early warning to buffer weather extremes. And climate change is still on the margins of natural variability. It solves their internal link to refugees because it means that people don't need to move. And the IPCC also agrees that warming does not cause natural disasters. For biod, alt causes. Warming isn't even the biggest threat. Habitat loss, deforestation. That's the one in card. And in fact, the 2C even listed a bunch of alt causes like deforestation, which is our argument. Our evidence is explicitly comparative. It says alt causes overwhelm it and solve warming in isolation will not solve the broader biodiversity crisis. Regardless, there's no impact and no mechanism for extinction. Species can elsewhere can replace from local losses, can fill in for local losses. We read like 11 cards on the advantage, so I'm not going to do more. Okay, advantage 2. At the top, I have no idea how this happened, but they dropped all causes. Climate policy is one factor among many and hardly the most significant. I should not have to reinvent the wheel on dropped examples. Gaza harms our image as the responsible leader. Drone strikes, Gitmo, enhanced interrogation, etc. The 1AC internal link is nonsense and no one knew one air answers. Other argument, they dropped the Weiss evidence. Am I fucking up? Maybe I am. China can't and won't replace the US. Their focus is on remedying domestic problems, pollution, debt, and aging population, all direct the PRC inward. It solves their internal link for war because it prevents miscalculation and accidents. And the PRC also knows a war would worsen its outlook, so rationality puts a ceiling and escalation. That's Weiss. Now a CBA turns leadership It would harm U.S. trading partners and damage their economies. Brazil sells us more steel than China, so the plan's effect is totally backwards. That steel developing countries viewed as unfair. 121. DC's counterproductive to countries realizing emission reduction targets would also lead to a new round of trade disputes and and the international economic governance for advancing global cooperation on climate. Leadership is good enough to solve the case. The U.S. has already demonstrated ambition via the IRA, reg subsidies. Think of when you see prospects when they said that actually solving warming wasn't key because actors won't know what the outcome of the policy is. That ambition isn't effective enough to solve warming, which we agree with, but this is a signaling advantage. That takes no impact, no hedging. An eternal one empiric statistical analysis proves no historical correlation between unipolarity and stability. Regions like Africa and Latin America have remained peaceful in spite, not because of American military presence. That's fat-wise. The closest that the GBC gets to a war is transition wars. That's wrong. Schroller nationalism and power trajectory produces adopts an inward-looking foreign policy of retrenching nationalism, support, hegemonic forces, offshore dominion, Alice being murder, recessing trade agreements because of the redistribution of power, the cost of the planning, hegemony, increased relative to vast to be important means balance, is return to China with global influence, US wants less race scooters and access to soft landing as world moves to unipolarity by the future for a new track with power relations to China and the US share global leadership as equals 3 alternative explanations for stability outweigh if I was funding the world as the US to enforce peace, and then explanation for stability correct trends may prove difficult to reverse. None of these contributing factors, economic development, independence, nukes, institution, democracy, shifting norms, imposed to the world will continue to peaceful ways, no matter what the US chooses to do.
Are you good?
Yep.
Okay. The electricity prices dissat, can you explain the link differential, like the speed argument you made?
Our Curry evidence says that if we try to integrate renewables really quickly, that causes big demand surge and supply crunches. But if we relax the time frame for doing renewables, then that pressure disappears.
Which credit card says this, sorry?
The first card I wrote on the DA is the last line.
Okay, because I read you made that says that electricity companies are, I guess, transitioning now at a slower speed.
What do you mean by transitioning slowly? This is kind of the AFS.
Like relaxing the time horizon argument?
Yeah, this is the AFS inherency claim, right? Like that the U.S. is not doing the low carbon transition fast enough now.
Okay, so this requires you running, again, the adaptation arguments on case?
I don't
warming
think
won't
so.
escalate in the status quo, or sorry, warming won't get severe enough to cause impacts on energy prices in the status quo? So we're adapting when it's slow enough to really triggering this argument?
Yes, that is the case. I don't know about need to win it because we still have short-term links, but it is applicable here.
Okay, the AI solves climate change argument, what is the internal link? Because evidence just says that AI is present in every technology used in the green transition to the extent that transition cannot be made without it, and why is that the case?
So AI, if we can integrate it, then it will crack, it says fusion, which is our tickets to infinite clean energy.
So the more evidence is fusion?
It also says optimizing energy efficiency.
Why is
What does that mean?
solar panels?
Because why is optimizing energy efficiency key?
No, as AI key to solar panels.
Key to solve what?
Solar panels?
I don't know if we said it's key to solar panels.
What's the energy efficiency internally?
So AI can do expert demand rationing. So I don't know, like the Internet of Things, like smart homes. Whenever you're not there, AI can turn up the heat or lower the air conditioning, etc. Which
That's all
helps us
technology we
reduce
have now.
emissions.
You run the app and then that can be used.
Well, not distributions and machine learning. Still, the more AI capabilities we
What
have,
evidence
the
do you
more
think
deeper
represents
emissions
any of
cuts we can
this?
do.
Is this all the Hawkman card?
Yeah.
This card doesn't really say anything. It just says legacy systems are crucial. It's one person who's running from a tech consulting firm.
This card's great.
And
if you okay, the other thing is
card
if
that's tagged AI solves climate change and plan fails without it. Are we reading the same thing?
yeah,
Oh.
this one's crap.
Okay.
Did you see the big font?
Lewis evidence, I guess. The cost for consumers, is this like an inflation type argument? Or is it just like high electricity costs? Who's the one?
I don't think I read the Lewis.
Okay.
I don't think so.
The grid impact on the DA, like we change the case thing, what's the internal link?
Renewables cause blackouts, which is one of ebonics.
Why?
Because of demand surges and
Okay.
intermittency.
Okay, where are you from?
We have 803. Sorry.
Okay, doc sent. While everyone's waiting to get it, it's elections, the critique, oil deal.
Election.
Both of y'all got the doc?
That's no problem here. Okay.
And charges.
Conceding back defense, we're not going for it. It takes out offense to the disadvantage. The critique in its conditional theories research at the argument about the team, and it was never a pick in the first place. The oil DA, Saudi collapse outweighs. It creates a vacuum filled by nuclear powers. Russia, China, Pakistan, NATO, and terror cells miscalculated during the fog of war. Touch off a nuclear exchange that's every time frame is fast. Markets crack by immediately dumping oil, which may break down rapid warming a century away. And mitigated by interim adaptation turns the alpha one warming. A collapse is definitely quicker than warming if the plane solves in time. B, Graham paradox dropped. It was in the tag, and in the Twizy didn't respond. No new one answers. Exporting states don't believe plane solvency, even if it's theoretically durable. Triggers a supply flood, captures 20 revenue from select investment. C, war transported by 22. If these fuel was operation involved, the consequences of the forces action to be able to take also reconstruction consequences of the easiest resources all get renewables or educated engineers and company data solving climate change structural entities. 2 is China. A, it opens a power vacuum for China in the Middle East and causes the end results impacts of hedge decline. That's Avery. B, if the warming solution collapsed our allies' economies, nobody would follow the US's lead. Okay, clearly our DA needs some uniqueness explanation. A, Vision 2030. It's a massive diversification program away from oil economy and towards manufacturing and post-oil economic growth. B, that relies on continued oil revenue. Since that's what their economies relies on now, it has nothing to do with prices and everything to do with rents. Oil rents, the stuff that leaders spend on social services and buying off the public. First argument is that warming turns is 1. They have to win the case to go for this. 2, this is like the brochure on vagueness, regulatory changes and investment uncertainty. It looks like AI created a phrase sample of Michigan's ass. 3, it doesn't answer our DA. It's about long-term oil rents, not short-term prices. 4, it's wrong. A, adaptation GCC countries will insulate themselves from price volatility, but they only do with oil revenue hedge in 23. How are those things used to hydrocarbon revenues? They're going to power means they were more capacity management warming. Climate countries that have heavily infrastructure, they can really poor food, nutrition, but economies also insurance rates for food processing. States are aggravating the last million towards the buying power, reducing exposure, useful to finance and example of the way the states depend on oil, states invest in salads, groups, states on guitar, UAE, economy, commercial, which we supply offer, whereas the zone of physical machines. B, the Gulf endures warming, but only if current investments keep up 123. And Western Canada, the ratios like increasing confidence, most temperature, increasing temperature, reveals this kind of serious short companies, states investing in infrastructure to offer protection for residents, we have them capacity, food, water, and energy that have more best other countries that offer defense from environmental disruption. Okay, the price is low thing. Again, the Tweezy starts to get really non-responsive. Price is low doesn't answer our DA because there were rebounds since oil demand is high. But in case you think this has short-term implications for the DA, oil prices will rebound and strong demand puts a floor under the threat. Monhani and Dying robust outlook and the debate such as the DA can provide for the market. Does that mean the bus? I don't think so. Not bearish. We're going to press there's 60 always the cycle starts to turn their situation debate. I don't think we're going to see price more like the 20 BC before it all prices into $10 so pick up production where the prices fell below that rebound to mid-70s now. Slop 99. The latest job reports kept out the live with the interest rate cut. No thanks to the announcements delayed outlook increased signals and groups remain focused on balancing the market. But Morgan Stanley analyst said that less than weeks we estimate rate remains down around mid-$70. Renewable growth only supplants fossil fuels if it's covered by carbon export of 14. Cheaper renewables not on their own, but the will actually scratch that card. No short-term collapse in hydrocarbon demand. The Saudis don't run L22. Most people are not likely to be doubting Tesla anytime soon. They agree with the Saudis' idea. The whole plan is going to transition from oil. The Saudis don't believe that. That's why they're increasing production at this point. The cheapest energy comes from hydrocarbons. The IEA doesn't think oil demand is going to be down the next day. They're going to renewables and they're going to maintain hydrocarbons. Now the link of carbon price signals to Saudi their assets will be worthless quicker than they thought. Before renewables are available, they'll flood the market and suffer asset downgrades that leave them huge revenue holes that would have been used for Vision 2030 absent the plan. That's Al-Sahari. Other countries fill in. They can't say that. 2NC concedes plain solvency on case, so every other country decarbonizes or adopts renewables post-plan, otherwise vote negative on presumption. They say Everton 1. This card is just a less textured version of our uniqueness argument. It says Vision 2030 will diversify Saudi now, but only we have evidence that says that oil rents are key to do that too. Only oil money can rent an oil transition. How else would one? Oil will be instrumental in the Gulf economies, oil economies, tobacco, coal, turkey, oil is a lifeline, and oil can fund the transition, transmission, capital system, other sectors can put the bill. The key will be for go revenues down to use low revenue tanks, public sector spending needed to diversify. Al-Safar 21, the treasury of companies and parents, looks to the leader for the one for today. The fact of a smaller market for oil, combated by lower price and cost of incomes, Middle East, Balkan trade revenue to make it harder to diversify the economy, and the low oil price environment's currency depreciation makes imports even more expensive, reducing revenue in the picture, and this picture also specifically growth hits all sectors with the services and sector output 20% smaller. There will be 8 million food jobs created, and also about 11 trillion of their economies once smaller. Downturn makes diversification impossible. Slot 21. Global economy started to percent in 2014 crash with an attack on the resources presently because the oil price crash. Government said to introduce austerity, which would with strong opposition hinting at the future danger of destabilization. The Saudis need oil now to adapt to its future obsolescence. Almond 21. Saudi launch Vision 2030 emphasizes diversification renewables. The reasonable oil price needed to finance the Saudi sovereign wealth fund should invest in projects that will provide the Saudis with revenues replacing oil. The Saudi transformation is still developing. Loss of oil revenue undermines fiscal reforms. Massive 21. The GCC highlights the effect of implementing fiscal reforms on global oil prices. The government has remained heavily in sharp economic activity to manage through government spending a slap. The sharp economic slowdown in economic activity limits the economy resort to fiscal reforms. The GCC corporate entities are closely linked to government spending. Warming turns Saudi was answered on the price volatility. Unique this argument is also uncarded. Don't let the 1 year read them. Impact defense. 1. Frame all defense through the fact that it doesn't assume Saudi collapse. The only reason states resort to quote sub-state threats and quote deterrence is because of a stable state. 2. Its uniqueness for the neg. It says quote chances of war are lower than any time in 50 years. That flips Saudi. If that flips Saudi disappears. 3. The powder is dry. And the Middle East and 24. It is fair to recognize the possibility of more abundant in the Middle East, Gaza. The United States both foreign states in Lebanon, Houthi attacks Sudan. Competition between air forces all reflects security challenges. Get followed throughout the region. Confident beyond the Middle East. 4. Carla doesn't answer power vacuums. U.S. deterrence is null when it's the biggest ally in the region. It's overrun by popular revolt and its discontent at violating the social contract that draws in Russia and China, who have nuclear level interests in energy security. Saudis unrest triggers regional chaos and draws in the U.S. London 22. A revolt over economic issues would draw the country into a blaze of war if uprising small economic institutions could be hijacked by a conservative religious element. Regional alignment eyes but compelled divided supply insurgency regime and attendant revolution. My drawing us into another Middle East conflict. Gulf states fracture, pulsing great powers. Roads 23. Factions are drawing external powers may manifold extremes. Faction powers receive opportunity to increase their influence area of Spain. Led to the external violence in Syria and Libya. Faction politics in the Gulf states can lead to regime change or civil war, which presents opportunities for forcing intervening competition among the U.S. China Russian intensifying and could motivate support for parties. I'm going to go back and read a couple more uniqueness cards. Now, renewable clean energy will grow, but so will demand fossil fuels to stay quality too. Clean energy is growing with those demand, dirty energy is growing, so we're going to have to do things differently. We hope to ensure the output of oil was up faster than fossil consumption and demand past 100 billion barrels a day. The transition hasn't even crossed the start line. What is hungry for energy and manufactured goods? It's 15 seconds. Yeah. 6:57.
stop right. There's 2 docs, but I'm going to combine them for you, if that works. Arvin is not here, so I'm going to here.
I just was.
You can close the right side.
Did you send my doc?
Yeah, I'm sending it to you. Warming advantage, leadership advantage, advantage counterplay, prices decide, oil decide. Okay, you good? Everyone has the doc? Yes, Jenny's good, cool. Warming causes extinction, nonlinear effects are discounted from negative modeling, acidification, wildfires, biodiversity collapse, and unpredictable new diseases can ensure that's the 1AC Brody evidence thing. Internal link to all of the 2 and C's defense for us and adaptation is not supported by a card. Kansas is conceded a system failure, internal link warming, breaks down adaptation measured by collapsing institutional checks. All their evidence assumes a fully functioning society which warming makes impossible, which inherently answers all their defense to climate cooperation, checking climate wars, even if we have physical fuels, renewables, and marketing equilibrium, solving energy efficiency, the geological record was beaten in the 2EC, the warning about the twin force that which is indebted above. He's not an expert scholar, he's a philosopher, professor studying humanity in the abstract, who's not qualified one to make predictions about climate science, but they've conceded that those geological records are based off of natural cycles of warming the planet, and there are the plan checks, anthropogenic warming, which is the one that causes tipping points, and actually Torres, yes, climate wars does not. The SR assumes institutions and climate causes breakdown of those same institutions. That was above the consensus warning was from the Thorstead evidence should be indebted below and originally embedded below. The refugee count will be in the billions, which answers the argument about it not being sufficient to trigger climate wars. Adaptation is absurd. That was done above biodiversity, no cause driven by warming and solved by the planet. The impact is biospherical collapse. Those 1AC Sutherland clearly explained 1AC cross-sects the Thorstead evidence that diagram was setting at the bottom of the 2 and C's. The philosopher is answered. It's just setting one random nature article at best as a wash because it includes a bunch of other qualified scientists say that warming certainly will spur wars but independently adapt disease, so it doesn't matter about leadership. Concede China's focused inwards to get out of their internal link defense of the present day. They conceded the premise of this advantage and then immediately refuted it on case. They distracted by an aging population have no intent to spill out. The hegemonic transition both isn't peaceful and causes warming, which means they don't have a terminal impact, which will allow an internal link to prices because China has no intent to disrupt the hegemonic transition, which means they won't develop military rogue AI, not the advantage counterplay. Condo is bad, Rob's unique business use strategy makes out fairness impossible, hurts logic, and research returns class with a flex argument solved by Despo ensures 1C options, you can kick it free, create a permanent theory, afflex outweighs the best DE topic in history, and the negatives, the law quantum thinking is solved by multiple angles, which is largely never no impact to political extremes, but condo is logical, which is worse, you can vote out on theory because it's prerequisite to even the rest, you can't vote on negative ideas to prove a stock issue, innovation is inevitable, people want to win after us, counter about the block and all critical town, because you can track, sticking them is, conditionality, this one doesn't let us pick the 2 and all that one's not above, you can't force perms, because you can just perm those planks instead, yes, geoengineering impact, we can die to the Halstead evidence above, it's about weaponization, not unilateral deployment, because either it's coming now in response to warming, absent of blame, and then causes war. That's what I see style 1 and 2 and Kelvin can see the absent of blame, being forced to do sun change to cause mass conflict. Now prices. Rogue AI is not a terminal impact, it's a debate brain rot. The 2EC did read defense, but they required is massive, and China cannot possibly gather even with the lowest possible electricity prices. They cannot go for a fast tea about speculative technology that does not exist. Even if the link is quick, the internal link can impact are decades away, which means the warming not only turns in the interim, but the prices, but the price spikes will be mitigated heavily. The same defense for intervening actors obviously applies to them, but more because intervening actors can check artificial intelligence, but they cannot check tipping points. The Curry grid thing is insane. There's no internal link to power. Just a plan is not an immediate transition, which is what this evidence is about, and instead delayed by market signals, which checks the internal link is empirically disproven. Texas is a grid collapse because of fossil fuel reliance, but California is heavily integrated into renewables and is not subject to the same issue. Warming turns the greater renewable solve. That's the one to see all the evidence. No turns case broadly about L22 rather than to no better transition. The Barton evidence is not a terminal impact claim. It says that any artificial intelligence causes extinction. That flat 180 is the entire premise that this is mutually exclusive, so they cannot go for both. Artificial intelligence not solve climate change. Fusion is fake. Years off and not key to climate. This argument was joke, zeroed in crossings from a random blog reporter. Kansas is not going to go for it, and independently can see that pricing is key to solve as the further deficits to the advantage. Kind of not unique, these prices are high, yeah, it's wrong. The only warning in the entire 2MC was that it just correlated with inflation that is backwards. Well, 24 election prices are 3%. Election better inflation, distribution costs are probably driving higher levels. The Reuters evidence is backwards based on predictions that failed over the course of 2024. We're reading evidence from now. The estimates evidence concedes numbers. There's electrification now, which doesn't solve the app for all of our deficit reasons. But I would put thumbs to the DA. The link to the plan sells prices 1 LG volatility, volatility, the lost 2 cool EOS 24 physical business, so consumers really from 150. The worst was recently. Liquid gases out of Brazil. English consumers pay 3 extreme weather trends, great 24 countries, extreme weather, the link is faster than the term, answering both speed and perception. Price increases might be the end goal of market signals, but it's not crossing the interim. Now the internal link is 0. That was done above. Graham's answer to this is literally just gaslighting. He's not saying that China cannot lead because of prices. This is there are hard constraints on the compute necessary to power artificial intelligence. That's impossible. Like previous Smith, when you lack of generally as an overcome by pressing on as a computer telling the most or investment with the intelligent market and intelligence no impacts leadership, the internal 17 channel, which is all going to mitigate the approach, market approach, oil descent. Winning the link to the DA requires them conceding that renewables are scalable. Post-app requires them spotting us the internal link to the warming advantage, which outweighs on magnitude. It turns the DA for all the reasons done on case. It does not turn the case when it's Berg, since the app solves the green paradox plan, imposes a border tax, cementing the credibility of the plan. And there's no uptake because they can see that the U.S. is alignment with Paris. It would cause a short-term spike in emissions because the market seems to work, and companies and investors want to get a jump on the renewable transition. There's no correlation between price declines and common costs for team world. They're all squeezed. There's no terminal impact. This great power draw is thumb to resilient and the great defense to China. The U.S. would not control them for all the reasons. Done on the case page. Oil prices are at a 3-year low, trending downwards because of decreased China's gasoline, OPEC prices demand with the 2EC internal link that's pressuring prices they're low. Economic times at 11 over 6 my hands, the evidence does not say demand is enough to close the gap. The Saudi collapse impact is 0. Their economy is no longer dependent on oil. They are not transitioning now. If prices are collapsing, means the transition fails. They cannot possibly solve the London evidence. No one partly have to answer this, which is obviously thumbs back home though.
Here, read this.
Petro states are resilient, maybe 22 or else, and I have to mixing people, this way, mixing it, once like there's no between companies, you're not $2, like that's all we're saying, not going to like, let's go strategies, everyone will be just international, relations, let's all voice companies are very relevant, look about it, front of economic crisis, there's no impact, they will not strike anyone in the normalization, there's no terminal impact, no other state will go nuclear or has a treaty commitment in the region, so they couldn't possibly turn, even if the DA is short term and the link level is not short term and the impact level has the same problem as the energy prices, DA because state collapse takes forever.
7 minutes. 7.
I don't think I sent the gauze card. Or yes, sorry. The card I gave to Danny, who gave me the Mendeley card.
Okay, can we pause?
Yeah, we can pause. Sorry, I just realized.
Was it 149? I missed that. What was the card?
Mendeley, it was the last card Danny read. I don't know what it was. I just sent it to the machine. Sorry.
Oh, that's fair.
I was doing that.
I got it. Okay. We'll start again. 149. Good for an order?
No. Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes.
Okay. Saudi prices advantage 1. Sorry. Electricity prices advantage counterplan, advantage 1, advantage 2. Not advantage 2. Wow, I'm all over the place. Saudi
Okay.
prices advantage counterplan.
Okay.
What?
Sure.
Thanks. Sorry.
It's late. Thank you. Okay. Is everybody good? Rapid Middle Eastern war outweighs the case. Saudi collapse implodes the region, spawns a bloody civil war and massive power vacuum that sucks in great powers. Pakistan, NATO, China, all this calculate causing a nuclear winter big enough to extinct the species. That's any for it outweighs on speed. The 1 hour has neglected impact calculus. Collapse is definitionally faster than warming, which is centuries away. We can adapt to it, not a short-term nuclear war timeframe first, because it's Sherman's turns case and you can't die twice. Green paradox is an independent neg ballot because the Tuisi dropped it. The plan makes Saudi think the writing's on the wall for oil. That causes panic and pump responses that lower the cost of oil, which overturns their internal link, makes it cheaper, and massively explode interim emissions. But it also collapses Saudi rents because then oil will be trading for $0 a barrel. That's Al-Zahari. Dropped our impact turns theirs. Out frames try or die. War turns warming and ends the debate. We cannot decarbonize if we get sucked into the biggest Middle Eastern war in history. Our jets don't run on sunshine, people. That's mayor. Now, they say that our internal link winning it requires spotting the internal link to warming. Yep, I don't know how they didn't identify this. We're impact turning the app. You solve warming, you do it by instantly blowing up the world. The plan does not solve the green paradox. So I already explained the mechanism above. The Tuisi didn't make this argument, and the 1NR said no new answers, and the 1NR didn't even attempt to justify them. The plan causes super cheap oil, which overturns the whole price incentive that they say is key to solve warming, which guarantees the inevitability of all offense and gives you a categorical preference for our DA. Yes, great power draw, and certain China is irrelevant because they've dropped Russia and Pakistan, which are all highlighted and listed by name and are winning to every evidence now. They say prices are low, doesn't answer our DA. One, they have to win the demands, will literally collapse now, but that contradicts the case because otherwise emissions wouldn't increase. Clean energy might be gaining, but fossil demand is also exploding, guaranteeing a market for oil unless the plan rapidly phases out hydrocarbons in other countries. Our wall evidence says oil was up faster than total fossil consumption and demand is over 100 billion barrels a day. That juices Saudi economics and only the plan kills the revenue too. Prices high now. OPEC is extending production cuts to raise them and oil has always fluctuated to around $70. Drop in demand in India and China puts a quote floor on price drops. So this is irrelevant. 3 again, as our DA is about Saudi oil rents, not prices. Prices might lower rents, but if the plan solves warming, only that can collapse the Saudi regime as it stands. Resilience is wrong. One, they're missing narrative here. Saudi can't be resilient without oil money. This is silly. The answer is basically going forward. It would be fine if tomorrow we shut off Saudi oil. That would cause total chaos. Only prolonging oil and giving Saudi time to diversify can ensure that they can get off the hydrocarbons and into a non-oil economy. 2, zero AFCARs and answer Vision 2030 are when in our Avid evidence says that a quote reasonable oil prices needed to finance it and replace oil. They are on their way to resiliency, but are quote still developing now. 3, Saudi can't go cold turkey. Oil is their quote lifeline, and it quote alone can fund their transition. Only the plan unhooks Saudi before they're diversified. 5, weirding is an investigation of short-term oil busts. When the price floor falls out, this does not answer our DA because there's not a fundamental shift in market demand, but it does beat the ability of warming to turn the DA since small fluctuations don't collapse the Saudi state. Lastly, their card is not about Saudi Arabia, and there is an enormous and uncontested link differential which outweighs their thumpers. Boom and bust cycles are not the same thing as the obsolescence of oils because obsolescence obsolescence of oil because Saudi still has reserves which they can ride out, but not the obsolescence of oil, which permanently ends their rents now. Yes, impact. Saudi collapse rips open the Middle East. They drop what in our elbow evidence that the Middle East is on the brink and great power drawn is guaranteed. Treaty commitment is not an argument. We still have interests in combating terrorism, for example, or supporting our regional allies. Our roads evidence says that great power competition and the desire to keep up with the Joneses guarantees proxy support, which causes great power drawn. The link is lightning quick because of supply flooding, which we've already explained. Don't let the 2AR reinvent the wheel, and our cards are really good. Electricity prices, concede, rogue AI is not an impact, is far away, and hard constraint, stop it, advantage counterplan. Don't go for condo in finals, please. No new impact explanation or calculus. There's no reciprocal 3 in our reasonability. Drop. Condo is an escape hatch to avoid substance. Don't reward them for dodging education. I'm extending dank flex. The topic encourages and comes as every industry, domestic and foreign firms, and is multiplied by the ability to make up a new mechanism. Dispose bad at links because it enables 2As to abuse the absence of generics to box us into meaningful options. That outweighs because the app's already structurally advantaged by 2AR recency bias, infinity prep, and advantage choice, which outweighs 2 is innovation. Dispo forces an egg to go all or nothing on new strategies because we can't read them alongside old arguments. 2 won't break untested case or counterplans of doing so ties their hands. That forces no risk options that stagnate the topic and cause bland repetitive debates. Dispo or defense, they drop strat skew is good and canceled out by smart time allocation and cross applications. It's reciprocal because the F can read 3 advantages and straight turn every TA. Drop skew is inevitable because we could have read 15 T in terms of diminishing returns, put a cap on it. Advantage 1. No impact. Compare our card docs. They read 2. We've read like 15. 1. Empirics. Early humans survived enormous double-digit climate shocks without extinction. If we could do that without fucking walls, we can certainly survive extinction. Yeah, that was natural variability, but that natural variability was like 10 degrees plus. That's our evidence, which does cite the Halberstadt model, but improves on it. Our guy has a PhD in political or science or philosophy. 2. No war. Resource stresses cause co-op, not violence. It's sloppy and unsupported by evidence. There's not a single example of scarcity-induced war ever in human history. Our Crawford evidence says that institutions place an upper limit on escalation, which solves their system stressors and other fucking political science buzzwords. Our card says that that there is no deterministic relationship between environmental stress and cooperation is always more intuitive than violence because they know that war destroys resources, which solves their arguments. 3. Biody breakdown inevitable. The 1 card says that there are all causes to warming like air pollution, and in fact, again, they've dropped the 2 listed a bunch of those that are totally decoupled from warming, including habitat fragmentation. And again, the 1 does not have an impact explanation for how this leads to extinction. Ours is nuclear winter. There's this like question mark. I get that the 1 is supposed to is blippy, but like man, this is drawing a new line. Sorry, go back to the advantage counterplan. I just realized that I forgot to answer geoengineering. They've dropped it. Won't happen now. There's a de facto norm against it. It is banned by multiple international treaties. It is a fiction because it can be countered by other states, which prevents unilateral deployment. And our evidence says it quote literally cannot cause a nuclear war. And none of their Hellstrom evidence that they're indicting other models not applicable to other things. Okay, back to advantage 1. Our evidence cites the consensus that warmer states are no more prone to conflict, which disproves their internal link, and they've also dropped that there are more powerful determinants of warlike development.
Is your computer because oh no mine. No, I highlighted. Okay, I'm good. Okay. Is anybody not ready? Okay. Warming roads makes climates compared to most important impact. First, it's foundationally memories, a building block for all disease. But remember, they were rebuttal and projectors. Power reacts the only impact with immediate effect on every single ecosystem. Their defense is to sink their systems, collapse, and warming affects all the ecosystem between are not enough, invest enough time, and any adaptation in the status quo solves, which means that any risk that all of their grown climate science the tuner goes for is incorrect, means it's try or die after compounding fitness to transmit primary producers and key life
dropped warming causes disease. That is existential.
They also dropped the
Try to
cause
diet
disease, and
only
the
goes
disease is
one direction.
existential. There's no choice. If this tried only goes one direction, if putting that cannot solve warming, then you have to go back.
Yeah.